fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott.
He's
and
special.
then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1,000%. Absolutely right.
I also think Canelo is slowing down.
I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
You know, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and you know, the class that he showed.
Joe Rogan reacts to Terence Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez, stressing how Crawford thrives whenever doubt surrounds him. He explains that when critics claim Crawford cannot meet the challenge, it only drives him harder to prove them wrong. Rogan highlights Crawford's slick technique and sharp accuracy, which allowed him to showcase his power under the brightest lights. He believes this triumph confirms Crawford as one of boxing's most complete fighters today. Bont Hill tweeted, "I'm now convinced Crawford would beat any version of Floyd Mayweather." That bold claim reflects the immense respect Crawford's latest performance has generated across the sport. Defeating Canelo Alvarez has elevated his legacy, with many now believing he could surpass even the unbeaten Floyd Mayweather. Crawford's dominance over multiple weight classes and his ability to adjust seamlessly inside the ring show why such arguments are gaining credibility.
Get ready to subscribe totally to that because, again, you're talking about somebody who is stubborn.
And sure.
Who wants to prove everything he can prove.
100%. I agree with that too. But I think there's like in boxing and certainly in MMA, there's a certain amount of years where a fighter can keep the RPMs up. And you know, when they're in the red line, and there's some people subscribe to the idea of 9 years. There's 9 years is the most that a elite fighter in MMA has performed at their prime. I think that's a bullshit number because I think it's entirely dependent upon lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, physical attributes. There's a lot of factors.
George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing at age 45.
True, but he took 10 years off.
Yeah.
Commentator Gareth emphasized that Terence Crawford delivered one of the most remarkable displays boxing has ever seen. He noted that Crawford not only jumped 3 weight divisions to face Canelo, but also entered the ring older and after more than a year of inactivity. Despite those disadvantages, Crawford displayed mastery, poise, and intelligence that very few fighters in history have shown. Gareth stressed that fans must see this as a once-in-a-lifetime performance of greatness, proving Crawford's ability to rise above every challenge. Shakur Stevenson posted on X, giving respect to Canelo. He said many fighters in today's sport avoid tough competition, but Canelo deserves salute for always putting it on the line against the best. Stevenson's words reflect deep admiration for Canelo's bravery, reminding fans that true greatness is not only about victories, but about risking everything against elite opponents.
Throughout the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards, he was able to do it forwards, he could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154, but let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound for pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him, mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did. And he needs all the flowers in the world, he needs all the praise in the world, and I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound for pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the
Yeah, he's become. There's an argument that he becomes an all-time great with that performance, like you say, because the majesty, the poise, the presence all week, the pinpoint accuracy of everything he did in there, to the fact that in the end Canelo was frustrated and knew he couldn't do anything to Crawford, and he started
visibly frustrated, wasn't it?
No, visibly frustrated that he started to do a weird kind of showboating because he didn't have any answers for what was happening and unfolding in front of him. I think Terence Crawford has rubber-stamped himself as an all-time great tonight, and I want to revise a view on him. I wondered whether he would have been capable of beating Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
Oh, you're going for it now, aren't you?
And I think, yeah, we got to. I think he may well have done.
Paulie Malignaggi underlined that Crawford had accomplished something extraordinary. Becoming undisputed across 4 divisions is almost unheard of, and the way Crawford achieved it against Canelo was unforgettable. Malignaggi compared Crawford's supremacy to Floyd Mayweather's rule during his own era, declaring this the dawn of Crawford's time. His view showed that this win was not merely a result, but a turning point, signaling a transfer of power and establishing Crawford as the central figure of this generation.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do, you know? It'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know. But let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very well, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Devin Haney's direct response summed up Crawford's dominance. He dismissed any notion that Canelo had real control in the fight, saying he couldn't give him more than 3 or 4 rounds at most. Haney's words served as both an analysis and a challenge. They reinforced just how decisive Crawford's performance appeared and hinted that even the sport's brightest young champion no longer viewed Canelo as the unstoppable force he once was.
How'd you score it, Devin?
I wasn't scoring. I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous. Maybe 4.
Are you shocked or not?
Hey, right here to my left.
Are you shocked or not?
No, I'm not shocked. I knew that if you kind of fight.
A fan tweeted, "True competitors are all champions. There is no loss in the pursuit of sincere glory. Thank you and congratulations to Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The warrior spirit won tonight." This message reflected admiration for both fighters, showing that greatness is measured not only in victory but also in courage and sacrifice. Bill Haney added that Crawford's dismantling of Canelo looked even easier than his victory over Errol Spence. He revealed he had predicted this outcome, stressing Crawford's brilliance. His perspective underlined how effortless Crawford made the fight appear despite Canelo's status. By comparing it to the Spence bout, Bill highlighted Crawford's growing ability to neutralize elite opponents.
Result.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Earl Spence. Did look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bomac, and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
Where'd you rank him all-time list after that?
I mean, put his face on Mount Rushmore. You dig what I'm saying? He deserves his place, for sure.
Did you score it, Bill?
Yeah, I scored it a lot for Crawford and a very little for Canelo, if any. I don't know.
116, 112?
I don't know. I mean, I could pick one or two. I could pick 1 or 2 in there or something like that.
I know it's straight after the fight. But do you want to see Crawford go out on that, or do you think there'll be a rematch?
No, I don't hear a bunch of partying going on. I've listened. It sounds like a funeral home in Allegiant Stadium. Did Crawford win? It sounds like it's a funeral home. Look, you see over there. You see it's quiet. It's quiet as shit. Yeah. Is it a holiday or what? Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, that's a Crawford fan. He's Mexican. Now, listen. Hey, y'all know what's up. Crawford did it. And only person that's talking is me. November 22nd. If you don't want to hear nothing else, Crawford is great. November 22nd.
Another fan tweeted, "Crawford is out of his prime and older than Canelo. Bud beat him fair and square. No catch weight or nothing. I mean, he lost to a fighter who came up 3 weight classes. No excuses." This reaction emphasized the magnitude of Crawford's victory, showing that despite age and moving up divisions, he proved the superior fighter. It left no room for excuses, solidifying the win as one of boxing's greatest accomplishments. Analysts agreed this bout wasn't just about championships, it was about legacy. The narrative was clear. The winner would leave as the defining fighter of this era. With Crawford's triumph, he seized that crown. Analysts stressed how flawlessly he executed the game plan, shutting down Canelo's strength.
You need rehydrate, you need this. No, you don't. If you're actually a man who is willing to, challenge himself and not a little boy who's afraid, then yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And Terence Crawford did it, and he did it damn well. Credit to Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm still... Because for me, although I was picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and although I've been a fan of Canelo Alvarez for many, many years, he was one of the main guys who got me into boxing. I have loved Terence Crawford, loved watching him fight for years and years and years. I remember staying up at the time, and I actually made sure to get the HBO feed to get his fight with Victor Postal. And I remember, it wasn't one of his more entertaining fights, but I remember just being just in awe of the skill and ability of Terence Crawford at the time. I remember Bob Arum, they're both run by Top Rank, when people were saying, oh, could Loma fight Terence Crawford? And Bob Arum said that would be suicide. It would have been suicide. Could you imagine? Good Lord. I can't put into words how happy I am to be proven wrong, because I love watching Terence Crawford. I think he is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's really fit, right? And I love Canelo Alvarez, right? But it's really fit that at the top of boxing, we have 2 of the most honest champions, honest men you could ever see, you could ever imagine. And that being Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford, 2 friends. And I think they really sum up this era of boxing. If we are coming to the end of it as a whole, I think they really sum it up that if you're dedicated to your profession and you're willing to stay disciplined and you're willing to...
Returning to Joe Rogan, he reacted passionately by stating Crawford had proven himself the superior boxer to Canelo. He explained that Crawford is not only a sharp striker, but also possesses the mentality and adaptability of a wrestler, making him even more dangerous. Rogan emphasized that Crawford's ability to move up in weight and dominate such a difficult challenge was an incredible leap, one that deserves comparison to historic moments in boxing. In his view, Crawford achieved something even greater.
That is, Majumdar was really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is, it's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47. Right?
Now
so it goes to 54, and now
68?
he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite.
Meanwhile, a user tweeted, Jake Paul mocks lying weirdo Canelo Alvarez and brutal slam after rivals lost to Terence Crawford. This showed how Paul wasted no time firing shots at Canelo. The mocking tone highlighted Paul's ongoing rivalry and his eagerness to remain relevant by targeting boxing's biggest names. At the same time, Roy Jones Jr., one of the sport's true legends, declared that Crawford had reached a new level of greatness. He called him special, noting that no fighter in this era can match him after such a performance. Praise from Roy carried enormous weight because of his own legacy at the pinnacle of boxing.
I scored kind of like they had it. It was a very close fight coming down to the last 2 rounds, but Bud put him out. And he fought very smart. He let Canelo wear himself down early, and then he started fighting late, which was very smart.
Not many people gave Bud a chance, but he dominated in there tonight. Do you see anyone from this era beating Terence Crawford?
No, nobody's gonna beat him. Nobody's gonna beat him.
What makes him so special?
The fact that he's fought on both sides, and he's a winner at heart. His heart is everything.
But the scorecard's right. 2 judges gave it to him by 1 round.
Yeah, when you go to a fight, it all depends on what you like. Well, if you like Canelo's aggression, you gave it Bud by like 1 or 2 rounds. But if you like boxing, Bud won by a few more rounds.
What should both guys do next?
What?
What should both guys do next?
I mean, Canelo probably got to go back and decide what he wants to do. Bud, if I was Bud, I was going to be tired. Who going to top what he needs?
And that wraps up today's video.